Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 TSM. My name is Alan Cavagnar. I'm alongside Nick and we're at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the 18th round of this championship. Nick, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks Alan, pretty good.
Yeah, so we have 13 drivers today, a little shallow number, but again, this track does not disappoint, so the numbers should not matter at all. 13 drivers, those being Flair learning the wheel, Noak making his first race here in F1 TS Sub, and right now he's already out on the track in the Haas. He signed up a couple weeks ago but was not able to race. Also there's Black Mamba in 4th, 5th, SBM Mally Kekik, 6th, Cloudy Balloon, 7th. Beast has another new driver, premium driver, Malloy will be able to do 3 last races in the season in the Renault for the final 3 rounds of this championship in Season 10. And 9th place, James Slater, 10th is Jor, 11th is MLA, 12th is Sean, and 13th is Rex. So last round, very interesting. Beast has gained a little bit back of points momentum and was able to extend his lead by a little of 15 points with 3 rounds remaining. And entering Mexico today, Beast, or at least MLA, needs to do a lot if he wants to make up some points on Beast has. I mean, we are coming to the end of the season. 2 more weeks from now, we will be in Abu Dhabi commentating over the finale, and MLA really does need a big shove in points, however, if he wants any chance of winning this championship.
Yeah, we've been discussing it on the forum, Alan, over the last few days, about who we think is going to come out on top. And a lot of drivers have gone for Beastas, and you can't really argue with him. His just outright speed and some of the laps he's been able to pull off this season have just been remarkable. So he would definitely be a worthy champion, but equally will be MLA if he's able to pull off a shock. And he's had a good consistent season with the first 9 races, podium every single one. So we'll just have to wait and see how this one plays out. But Mexico is where it all starts for these final 3. 75 points left up for grabs for the Drivers' Championship. Mercedes, meanwhile, wrapped up the Constructors last time out in USA, so we all knew it was coming. Those 2 Merc boys absolutely dominated the Constructors, and they are the Season 10 F1 TS Hub Constructors Champions of the Pinnacle tier. So congratulations to MLA and Sean for achieving that feat, and of course they will have trophies being sent out to them to show their achievements.
Yes, something very, like we said, something unique that, I learned about F1 TSM when I joined is that every single champion will get a trophy when you win, and I assume that's going to be the same for the podium tier as well at the end of this season. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the season, whoever wins a championship and whoever is at the top at the very end of these 20 races will get to hold a trophy over their heads, signifying that they have won the season's championship. Rex sets the fastest time of a 1:17.1, and that's Sauber, first person to set a time on the board today. We have 8.5 minutes remaining, and Williams flies by Rex. Let's go down. And yeah, no one else has set a lap yet, but Flair is on a flyer right now in his McLaren, and Mally crosses line in the other McLaren, and fastest lap for him, 1.3 seconds above. That is a 1:15.8 as it stands now. Shauna fastest lap time, 0.2 above at Mally's. That is a 1:15.6. And from that Mercedes, and speaking about these teams, as we're in qualifying right now, a couple drivers sliding in for times, Flair 4/10 behind, but something I want to ask you about, Nick, is 8 teams have revealed their liveries in real life, however, and I just want to ask you this quick question. What's your favorite livery? I'm just curious on this one, because I asked a couple friends, they all prefer the Red Bull one.
Well, the Red Bull, I don't think anyone can argue with. It absolutely looks fantastic, but it is only a test livery, so I don't want to get too excited about it, and I'm sure they'll be back to their normal, racing colors that they were last season. So yeah, that's that one. But I have to say that I don't know. I like the Sauber Alfa Romeo. I think it's I just like that Alfa Romeo logo on the side of it. I think that's pretty cool to have them back in Formula One. I'm never too impressed with the Ferrari, only because it's always the same, so you just kind of know what's coming. Same as the Mercedes, it was a bit more black in it, but nothing too exciting, different there. So Renault looks good. Renault looks really good. So they've put on a good color scheme, and really like the yellow in that. Who else is there? No one else has really stood out. I didn't like the McLaren today, I'm not going to lie. I just did not understand the blue in it. I wish they would have gone for like a really crisp, kind of fresh orange, like a, you know, which had different gradients in all over the car, like a bit of a darker one, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with the McLaren is that they wanted to have the papaya orange, but there's, I mean, you look at the front of it, you look at the nose, and you go up, and the car looks slick, and it looks fast. You look at the side of it, and it makes you think of a back marker, because they don't even have any sponsors on the side pods, and it's weird seeing that. You look at two different sides of the McLaren, and you're thinking of two different teams, maybe a front runner or a back runner. So, I mean, yeah, the McLaren one shocked me, but yeah, I'd have to say my favorite one would probably be the Red Bull. Even though it's a test livery, it's a downer. The liveries so far this season haven't been too impressive from what it was last season. Or the Renault. I like the Renault. It was beautiful. It looked like a different shade of yellow, to be honest, and I liked it. But yeah, I mean, if anyone is just curious, there are still two teams left to reveal their livery. Or is it two, or, well, I'm not sure. I know that Force India saw
and Toro Rosso, isn't it? Force India and Toro Rosso.
Well, Toro Rosso already revealed theirs with a leak.
Oh yeah, they did that running, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's it then, isn't it?
India.
So yeah, which you presume is going to be pink again. But just quickly, Alan, Black Mamba's actually at the top at the moment. Provisional pole position. We're yet to see a time from BSAS learning the wheel and Nowek, so we'll wait for them to come across the line. The Ferrari driver learning the wheel out on track. It is strict corner cutting here, so you need to be careful, keep within those white lines, otherwise you will get your lap disqualified. There are a few corners where you can push the car and push the limits a little bit, but is it worth the risk? These drivers need to decide themselves. But yeah, MLA, look how close it is. The top four, Alan, all within a tenth of a second of each other.
Yeah, it's nice to see that. I'll be completely honest. I mean, all within a tenth of each other. It doesn't happen that much. I mean, look at Sean. He's 800ths behind the race leader, not the qualifying leader. You'd assume that he's qualifying in second, but actually he's been beaten by the new guy, Noak, and MLA, his teammate, and of course Black Mumbai. So really, if these times stay the way they are, really, really close. They're not too far behind in fifth. 3/10 behind is Malley, and Flair half a second off in sixth. He's on an outlap now, going for his final run. 3 to 4 minutes remaining. BSAS fastest lap time, puts all those dreams aside by half a second. BSAS is done with his lap, and most likely he'll try and go for one more lap. If he doesn't improve, that'll be it. Because I don't think he'd have another time to, you know, go for another lap or pit this time, then go for another lap. Because really, and actually probably the corner cut in turn one probably just invalidated any chance of a second lap. So I don't think BSAS will get another lap in.
He's on lean fuel, so I don't think he'll be able to do anything else. If he wants to come back into the pits, it'll be very close getting in and out again. As you said, I don't think he'll actually have enough time, but perhaps we know BSAS is a master at timing it just right. Flair, meanwhile, his old teammate from round one, is just about to start another flying lap. He's got enough fuel in for perhaps to do 2 runs. Being a bit of a shorter track here, 2 things. One, traffic is a little more difficult, but with only 13 guys today, too much. But the other thing is you definitely can do 2 hot laps on each set of tires if you want to do 2 runs. So there's some wider options open, and come the race, Alan, it's a 1 and a 2 stop. There really is some mixed up strategies here in Mexico, and it's so nice to see not just a simple old 1 stop and drivers getting to play around with some strategies, see some different tires, and this is going to be another cracking race, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely. Mexico never disappoints. That long straight, it's going to make up for the broken slipstream in this game. That long straight, you get off turn 4, or not turn 4, the final corner, and got off the final corner, close to the back end, you just can't get there because there's no straight line speed. Well, again, here in Mexico, you can be behind someone for 20 seconds and be able to make the move in turn 1, hopping over the curb. So really, for these drivers, straight line speed won't be a problem here, believe it or not. Maybe in the second DRS zone, where that straight is pretty much short, so you're just forced to lunge it down to the inside, which again is not bad at all. I'd like to see that too. Again, remember the 2016 Mexican Grand Prix was between the 2 Red Bulls and Sebastian Vettel. That was a good, interesting fight. At one point, 3 different guys were supposed to finish 3rd in the race, I believe. And at the end, it was confusing. I know we won't see anything like that in F1 TS Sub, but I mean, the racing that they put on just went to show that this track definitely has it for open wheel racing in F1. And again, I like being here. It's a fun track. Besides the S section, I couldn't be bothered to race around this track if there's a S section. But the first sector and the third sector are very nice to me. I like how the track flows. Hopefully some other drivers agree, as Beast has retires. Decides he will not have enough time to get back out on the racetrack. He's actually exiting the pits, sees that there's 1 minute left, and actually, I think he could have done it. What I would have done is just in the S section, just go flat out, because they can't invalidate you for your next lap, because you're not in Sector 3. But that's Beast has off the track, and I think he's pretty satisfied with his lap time.
Yeah, he's obviously timed that wrong, or he's happy with his lap time. But yeah, I didn't realize that was only Sector 3 you can invalidate your this end next lap. I thought I'm sure I've had it where I've come out the pits, cut the first corner, and had this end next lap invalidated, but it could be the third sector, Alan. I haven't done too much running. Black Mamba's retired from the session, so he's got wing damage on the left-hand side, and he's obviously called it quits. So first and second at the moment on the provisional grid are literally staying as they are. We've got everyone else out on track, learning the wheel, yet to set a lap time. Here he comes exiting the final corner now. What is this going to be? Will he have enough time to do another one? He might just, yes he will. I don't know how his fuel will last. He won't be able to run max all the way. He's actually not set a time, so Alan, he must be struggling with corner cutting there, as everyone else is also on an absolute flyer.
Yes, MLA locking up those right front tires around the Horquilla, loses the back end off the exit, and now we enter towards the second sector. He's going to weave through the S's. This is where the part that tricks many drivers out, hitting the apex left and right. Will be able to top Beast has his time. Oh, runs very wide. Oh, I'm not sure if that costed him or not, but it could have cost him around a tenth, half of a tenth though. We enter the final part. It's a stadium section. You assume an actual stadium would put grass and turf down to play you know, a sport, but instead they decided to put a racetrack through it, which I much agree with. A very interesting choice. But final corner for Beast has, or MLA across the line, and no improvement for the Silver Arrow, still in 6th place. And it looks like Flair back on the top of the grid like it was in the beginning of the season. It looked to be Williams up in the front, and now it was McLaren and Williams up in the front. Same people though. Nice to see Flair bringing back some speed in that wheel.
Yeah, wow, and well, yeah, Flair absolutely stomping there to take that. Bit disappointing from MLA. I'm not sure what happened, but he's down in 8th at the moment. Cloudy Balloons crosses the line. He improves as well, so we'll wait for full confirmation of the order. But MLA at the moment down in 8th from what I could see. And Sean, Black Mamba, Sean, Mally, Naurik, they all improved on that final run. So Alan, it did actually end up, look at the top 8, all separated by 7/10 of a second. So it did end up very close between them all.
Yes, here's the grid rundown. We're 15 seconds. It is Blair, Beastaz, Novak, Shaw, Learner the Wheel, Mally, Black Mumbai, MLA, James Slater, Rex, and Cloudy Balloons start the top 11. Then it's Mello and Jor and 7. Wow, I did that in 10 seconds. 13 drivers today for the Mexican Grand Prix at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the Mexican Grand Prix. Round number 18 of the season.
Yeah, just quick shout out to the Force India drivers, Matt and Sam. They're not here tonight, Alan, but they're actually watching from Liverpool. They're actually friends in real life, and they're actually together in Liverpool tonight. So a shout out to those boys who are watching the stream. And we've also got a few other guys as well. So hello to everyone else who's tuned in. This is the Pinnacle tier every night, Friday night at 9 PM. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And head over to Twitter to give us a follow. There's full race updates with some short video clips of what's going on track as we wait for the formation lap to begin.
Yep. And you're shouting out some drivers. Why don't we shout out the Mercedes guys? I'm not sure if you did that, or I did that yet. But they won the Constructors last round by a lot. Too much. Wasn't really competition, so congratulations to the Mercedes guys. They definitely earned it of MLA and Sean. Now, with the Silver Arrow guys back in England, what they want to focus on is really getting their driver MLA, who actually starts in 8th today. They want to get him that championship towards the end of the season. It's going to be a big push, and they're going to have to prevail with these 3 final races of the season.
Yeah, and just to quickly give you a strategy update. Cloudy Balloons is the only driver to start on the soft tyre. Everyone else is starting on the ultra soft. So just gives you a bit of indication of who's doing what. And Cloudy Balloons, the soft, do something a little bit different. Of course, the top 10 can't change their strategy because that is the tyre that they qualified on in the previous session. So if we just quickly switch over, of course, this is a championship battle. We did a post earlier on the forum on the website www.f1tshub.com, the mathematics it was called, and it talks about what can be achieved, what can't be achieved, and talks us through a little bit of the F1 TS Hub history and things that have happened in the championship battles and what can happen and what is still possible with 75 points remaining. Beasthas leads MLA by 22 as we head into Mexico, this awesome stadium section, which after 36 laps, Alan, will have our podium celebrations.
Yes, definitely. We are headed towards the final part of the track. Let's do a little track facts first. I forgot to do this in quality. I'd like to do this very quickly. So, the F1 Grand Prix circuit 2015. The track layout is, the surface is asphalt. It is 4.3 kilometers long, or 2.6 miles long, and it contains 17 corners on this very unique circuit. And the race lap record set in 2017 was Sebastian Vettel, a 118.7 in his 2017 Ferrari.
They're all lined up, Alan, and they are ready to go. We're going to wait for the 5 lights, and then I'll let you take it away. Long run down to turn 1 here.
Here we go, the 5 red lights to fill in our screens, and 5 red lights, and we're green. Flair on the front row of Beasthas, and we're underway. And already, look at that Haas, he's got a fantastic start, and they've absolutely bamboozled the Williams, and there goes Noack, headed towards the first corner, and he's trying to take the lead around the outside. There's 3, 4 wide, looks like pack racing in NASCAR, but around the outside, oh, many of them ran wide, and Beasthas, with a huge lunge, takes back the race lead before turn 1. Flair back into second, Noack into third, but struggling and learning the wheel, trying to get around him, but defending is Noack as we head down towards the second DRS straight. We're already done with DRS this lap. They bang wheels, the Haas and the Ferrari going at it, back around the outside. Noack, he's trying to learn the wheel against learning the wheel, and around the outside in Horquilla, just enough room to try and grab enough grip to try and stay in third, but it looks like learning the wheel gets by for P3. And going down through the grid, one car cutting the corner. 6th place O'Malley ran wide, or probably got shoved wide, and ran off the track. And MLA still back in 8th place, not the position he needs to be in. Oh, Black Mumbai, an incredible pass right below the white line. Just enough to get those 2 wheels on the track, just enough to make a legal pass here. Oh, and down the inside goes Malley, contact on the very opening lap of this Mexican Grand Prix, shoving it down to the inside. Will he have enough room? He gets shoved off the racetrack. Oh, that's a very questionable move by Black Mumbai. But leading the first lap of this race is Beasthas by a huge margin, by more than a second on the opening lap. Oh, headed down the straight now. Oh, this makes up for the slipstream. Headed down into turn number 1. It's going to be between Noack and Learning the Wheel. Learning the Wheel still hangs on as Noack gets in part of the grass. And here we go back onto the second straight. We'll be able to put on not DRS. It opens next lap, but still behind Learning the Wheel. Puts on some rich mix. Headed down the corner. Not close enough to make a move. MLA has moved up to 7th, maybe down to the inside of Black Mumbai, but Mumbai runs wide with locking up of MLA, and the McLaren is there to the inside of Malley. Oh, this is a huge train behind MLA as he tries to shove it down to the inside, but realizes that he takes him out, and that's really his championship over, but it does not happen. MLA still hanging on to P7. There's a huge and hefty train behind MLA from P7 back.
What an amazing start, Alan. Absolutely fantastic, chaotic, but clean racing. Rex is coming into the pits at the end of that lap, so we can only presume he had contact somewhere. Black Mumbai very firm with his defending. As you said, some of it perhaps a little bit questionable. We saw in the podium tier earlier through turns 2 and 3, there's nothing wrong with giving the guy you're fighting, a car's width room. Pick your line and just get that little bit of extra space as DRS is enabled, just so you can make sure that it's clean. My timing screen keeps messing up and keeps saying that James Slater is leading the race, which definitely isn't the case. Beasthas, he looked to get a bad start, Alan, but then he just slung it down the inside of both Flair and Noack, and before you know it, here he is leading EM.
Yes, he definitely is, and let's go to the grid order, because a lot of things changed. I honestly thought Flair was going to take the lead, but he just couldn't do it entering the first corner. So here it is. It is Beastaz, Flair learning the wheel. Noak, Sean, Black Mumbai, MLA, Mally, Malloy, and James running out the top 10. Then it is Jor, Cloudy Balloons, and Rex into the pits as we speak. And on my screen, okay, never mind. I was going to say on my screen, the front 2 tires were softs and the back 2 were super softs. I thought that was kind of interesting. But off the pits goes Rex. And still leading is Beastaz. He's already set the fastest lap time as DRS has been enabled this lap. It's right on board with Sean. The battle between him and Noah could be heating up now that we have DRS entering this lap, and he's all over the back end of that Haas. It's his first ever race on F1 TS sub, and he's going to be under attack from a veteran driver like Sean in the Mercedes. Headed off the corner, just could not get enough grip and traction as Noak is able to prevail off the final corner, and nowhere close to him is Sean. Down the straight, though, Beastaz still leads. And, yeah, I mean, the DRS is there. He's within a full second, but here we go. Noak looking to the inside of learning the wheel, cannot get there. But as we go through the first corner, the gap is pretty much as it was off the final corner. Due to that straight, it really helps the drivers who've been falling off the pace a tad bit in the first run. But going through the field again, something that has shocked me, really, is you look up with MLA a lap ago, he was holding off Mally, mainly due to the fact that he just didn't have the pace that lap, and he just picked it up, starting to push, and now he's almost towards the back end of that Sauber of Black Mumbai. So really, I think MLA wasn't really trying in the beginning. He's just trying to defend, and then he wanted to save his tires for a later run in his first stint. Do you think that was the case?
I'm not too sure. Perhaps he was just getting a bit comfortable. Of course, you know, the car's heavy fuel, they feel a lot different than they did in qualifying, especially through that S section, and it can sometimes catch you out. But Meloy in 9th position, so he's inside the points in his first race. As you mentioned, Noak is in 4th, so he's having a good solid job as well. What can Flair do about Beastaz? They all went deep into, as learning the wheel gets a tank slapper on the final corner there. That is going to give the Haas driver a complete run, almost a free run down the inside, and that's definitely cost. Is he going to lose 2 positions here because of that small mistake? He goes to try and pick up a bit of slipstream. Is Sean going to pull it to the outside? He does that. He has DRS. What can he do from there? Is he going to hold it round the outside? He does hold it round. It becomes the inside, gives room for the Ferrari. Brilliant racing side by side. That's exactly what I was talking about was happening in the podium tier. And we continue on to turn 4. DRS again open for the Mercedes. Mercedes versus Ferrari. We love to see this, and looks like learning the wheel has just kept the position, but he did lose 1 out of that. And yeah, he is, as my timing screen updates, he is in 4th, and Noak is now in 3rd. But yeah, Alan, they all went deep into turn 1 on the first lap. Did you know they went right to the edge of the curb, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so this track was upgraded, or updated, to the 2017 standard. I don't think they would have done that, because there are a lot of rumble strips in the runoff area due to the 2016 Mexican Grand Prix, due to Hamilton and Verstappen cutting the grass section, if you remember that, in turn 1. That's why they added it in real life. On the game, it's not there. It was mainly just due to the fact that there's 3 cars going 3 wide entering turn 1. One car tries to outbrake the other, and then it's like a chain reaction. It's like when you jump the start. 2 other cars behind you will do the same thing just because you jumped the start. It's sort of the same thing when it comes to late braking. Here's learning the wheel and Sean going at it towards turn number 1. Same scenario could be done here. Late braking from Sean, again from learning the wheel, broke a tad bit later and just clears them before the corner, runs wide, and there goes the Ferrari back on through, takes back P4, and looks like learning the wheel, trying to get ahead of Sean. Sean has some lag on my screen, but he's going to try and go around the outside. More late braking, but he's going to catch the Ferrari out, try and get the switchback, and then he all of a sudden sees Black Mumbai in 6th right behind him, and then eventually that's going to allow the Mercedes MLA to get back, but squeezing on through and rubbing wheels with Sean is Black Mumbai. As we approach the second sector of the S's, and getting on through is Sean, and still ahead of the Sauber as we speak, as missing the apex is Mumbai. That's really going to allow MLA to gain, as something I keep noticing about MLA. He hates the end. Oh, and Flair's disconnected. He's going to start dropping positions, and there goes Noah gone by for second. But like I said with MLA, something I noticed them, he hates the exit of the S's. I mean, when there's that big runoff area on the asphalt, and then there's a rumble strip. But what he usually either turns into much or turns into late, misses the apex off the final S, and just allows him to run wide. Either that loses him time, and it really hurts his second sector time and his overall race lap record, or race lap time that he has here. So it really doesn't help. But again, riding on board with Sean, close to learning the wheel, but decided not to due to the ghost of Carl Flair. He's already down to 5th place. What a bummer it was for Flair.
Yeah, definitely dropping down after such a good, pole position. So you have to say he stole it from right under the two guys that were on provisional front row, right under their noses. But it's fantastic to see Sean battling, with these guys. Black Mumbai learning the wheel. Obviously late joiners to the league this season, but they don't disappoint. And they can really mix it up with the front runners. But look at Beastas, 6.4 seconds. What can Noik do about that, if he can do anything at all? It doesn't look like MLA or Sean, his previous most recent challenger, are going to be able to join him up the front anytime soon, because they've got a scrap on their hands all the way down in these point scoring positions.
Yes, I mean, there's not much points to be offered. I mean, in my opinion, there are many points available out of the 13 drivers, but I mean, there's not many positions where you cannot get points. I mean, there's 11th, 12th, and 13th, and where Flair is right now, if he's able to join back, I think he could scrap up something, even if Clyde of Balloons gets by, and that'll take another lap, so I'll give Flair another chance. But James Slater in 9th, 8th at Malloy, he was able to gain a position due to the fact of Flair leaving. Going up to the grid, there's Sean and learning the wheel to wheel. He learned the wheel of that one, and Sean's able to get by for a podium spot. But learning the wheel is not gonna go down without a fight here. Down the second DRS straight goes Sean and learning the wheel as we approach the grandstands here. Many fans watching this battle as we speak right now. It's a 4-car train with Sean as the conductor. Learning the wheel, Black Mumbai, MLA, all passengers just trying to get by the Mercedes there. Once they start battling, they go even slower because they're trying to fit 2 cars in one corner, and it really doesn't help as he's run very wide. He's run very wide, and learning the wheel is going to have another shot at this one as we approach the stadium section. Just nail it here. And he's going to be all over the back end as we approach the final corner. That'll give him a chance to put a move down to the inside in turn 1 next lap. Lap number 9 that'll be. And on the back end, let's ride on board with the Ferrari of learning the wheel. Goes over the curb a tad bit too much, but looking with Sean, if he can stay to the back end, he could put a dive in turn 1. But off the final corner, Sean extends that gap. DRS available for the Scuderia Ferrari, but will he be able to get close enough? That's the question we present ourselves. And that gap has exceeded a lot off the final corner because the pace picks up, so the gap increases. But as we head back through the corners, really, as Sean messes up, misses the turn 1 apex, and it looks like learning the wheel is able to gain back a lot of time through that one. And it looks like MLA and Black Mumbai are going to have a battle of their own with the next couple of laps. But a little question for you. Before the race started, you're talking about pit strategy, depending on what tires are... Oh, hold on a second. Sean caught himself out again. Running wide, losing the back end, now trying to defend the inside on the Horquilla. And learning the wheel still there. It looks like Sean's car is really struggling with corner exit, getting a lot of oversteer. He's really going to have to help his car with that one, as Black Mumbai, a 3-second penalty for trying to defend against MLA. It was for multiple warnings, all added up within these first 9 laps. So a little question for you. You talked about pre-race strategy. What do you think these drivers will be doing, mainly due to the fact that in the beginning of this race, you talked about all these drivers on the Ultras. There are a couple of drivers who switched, but mainly the guys on the Ultra subs, who do you think they'll be pitting, considering the guys who are, teammates? Let's say they're, we could assume with the Mercedes, they're both on the same tires. They're going to have to pit different laps. What do you think the case will be?
Learning the wheel comes in now, so I think anyone that pits now, Alan, will be switching to a 2-stop, so they'll be committing themselves to that unless they want to take the soft tires a long way. Malley's also in. We saw Flair's computer pit him last lap, as well as James Slater, who's desynced on my screen. So if you're coming in now, you're either going to go for 2 sets of Ultras and a Supers as your race strategy, or you're going to go for 2 Supers and 1 Ultra. But that's the 2-stop. If you can push these tires to another few laps, then you'll be looking at making the soft tire go to the end of the race. But it's a real mixture of strategies, and Alan, there really isn't any a lot of difference in time between them.
Yes, there really is. And 10 laps in, and already we're talking about the pit strategies and the end the projected end for these drivers on what tires they should be putting on. It looks like a lot of drivers putting on the soft tires to try and finish the race on these tires. I definitely agree with that. That's a good idea. I mean, I'd agree with that from a driver's standpoint. You know, try and do yourself a one-stop, or maybe at the end you're not where you want to be. Maybe go for a fast lap. You put on the ultras at the end because I mean, you already got the recommended tire, the required tire, I mean, that you had to put on. So some good stuff right there. You could go for another fastest lap at the end, but 11 laps in, Beast has crossed the line, does not pit. Sean comes in, Black Mumbai comes in, and that's it for everyone else. And Meloy will follow in as well. So Sean and Black Mumbai, what tires will they be putting on? Sean puts on the Supers. What about Black Mumbai? He's at the very end, right in front of that Renault garage, and they'll be putting on the soft tires. So interesting stuff from him. Sean gets by Black Mumbai. Bigger gap than I would have imagined it, so a tad bit slower stop from Black Mumbai, but different tires for Sean, and what it could have been for Black Mumbai. What do you think the cause of that was? They put it at the same time, they had the same wear on the tires most likely. Why do you think they put on different tires?
I reckon Black Mumbai's gone for the one stop, and as we're seeing, Sean and learning the wheel has to cut across the grass there as they bang wheels. And looks like Sean's kept the position there, so learning the wheel went for the undercut last time around, and Sean has now come out in front just about, and Sean will be two stopping, Black Mamba will be one stopping, I believe. That's what they're going to try and do. It is a long way to push those soft tires though, that many laps, so you might have to see maybe Black Mamba bail towards the end of the race for a set of ultra softs, but yeah, it's looking pretty tasty for that. What looks to be about like 7th to 8th position is really hotting up. So Beastas leads, he's in the pits now, so our championship leader is in the pit lane, and that promotes MLA to the lead. So Narek also in the pit, so his first pit stop at F1 TS Hub, and it looks to be a pretty smooth one. Front wing change though, so he was carrying damage in that Haas car, and perhaps that explained you know, why Beastas was able to pull away so much. But Beastas comes out in second position with not a care in the world, and he is on the soft tires. So Beastas perhaps going to the end as well. We'll just have to wait and see how long these tires last, and just really how things play out.
Yeah, it'll be a question really, because some of these drivers will like to push in the second stint of the race to try and go for a fastest lap, or they'll be stuck defending. And honestly, for some of these drivers, you know, they're going to have to realize that sometimes you can't really push the way you want to with these cars, because really, you go faster in these cars, meaning the tires will wear faster, but at the same time, you have bigger tires, meaning you go to a track like Russia, you can you could do a 100% race on the ultra softs. You can pretty much finish without getting a puncture. You know, that's an example, I'd say. So really, these cars, these tires, I mean, despite the, you know, bigger cars, you're going to go faster, but at the same time, the bigger tires, less wear. So really, it's not really a question if you're going to get a puncture or not in this game, compared to F1 2016, where it was so crucial, tire wear was, as Mally has retired.
Yeah, he's just had a massive contact with Nawek, who just came out of the pits after a stop of damage, but definitely had a slide, lost a few seconds. I was riding on board with that, Alan. That was... that's a really difficult one to call. I don't want to be too opinionated here, but I don't really think, you know... I didn't see the beginning of it, so perhaps, you know, as Noak overtook Mally, it wasn't clean, or he felt he wasn't given enough room, but afterwards, trying to go just put your nose in through those high-speed S's, there's no point to it. You know it's just going to end up with both cars sort of sliding off. But yeah, I think Mally should have backed out of that one, but as I said, I don't know what happened earlier on, so, you know, frustration, that's what it looked like to me.
Yep. So we are 13 laps in through our race. We're not even halfway through and already have a driver retired due to the tensions flaring towards the end of the season. Many drivers trying to go for points, and shoulda, woulda, coulda situation for him. And you know, he'll probably recall this race and think, oh, what could have happened if I didn't spin, or if I was clean with that battle. And it comes down to the end of the season with your points total, and then you add up how many points you could have gotten if something went your way. And in all honesty, that's racing for you. These mistakes happen, and these drivers just need to get a grip of themselves when a situation happens and they just don't have control over it. You can't just slash out sometimes, and for some drivers it's a problem. But it's racing, and I think that's the part that everyone loves watching. The intense in the action, and speaking of the action, 5th place, 6th place going at it. Malloy down to the inside, and Balloon's trying to defend as we approach turn 1, sneaks back to the outside and around the outside. He'll have the inside in turn 2 as he go back through the little chicane, and the Renault gets by, and so does the Mercedes of MLA. They're wheel-to-wheel off the first part, and still going at it. Oh, MLA, he switched lanes, and he'll be trying to ring it around the outside as we approach the end of the second DRS straight. Oh, but lunging it down to the inside. Oh, he's going to have a save back at it. Headed towards Arquilla. The Williams is going to be there. Will he try and lunge it down to the inside? He puts his nose there. Backs out at the last second, and MLA holds on to P6 as we speak. BSAS, by the way, still leads by 6.5 seconds. And learning the wheel, a 3-second time penalty. Going down the grid order. Learning the wheel, Black Mumbai, Malloy, MLA, Balloons, James Slater, Nowick, Jor, Rex to Flair. Flair is also disconnected, so most likely he'll be classified a position behind Malley due to the fact that, let's say he doesn't join by the end of the session. I think that'd only be just fair. Still no points up for the table of 12th and 13th, but 15 laps in, we're headed towards the halfway mark. Do you have any predictions for some of these drivers as we approach halfway?
I think you're going to see Sean close that gap to Beastas on the quicker tyre. Sean will have to stop again. We don't think Beastas will, as now Jules left the session from 10th position, so has he disconnected as well? He has indeed, by the looks of things. MLA closes in on Malloy, so yeah, Alan, I think Sean will close that gap on Beastas on the quicker tyre, and if he can perhaps get in front of Beastas, you know, what will that do to some of the guys behind? Will they be able to close in, or what will happen? But what's happened now is MLA left the session because it's migrating the host. It looks like MLA's left the session. So what has happened here? The second in the championship, I don't think that's happened all season, has it, Alan? MLA's usually, he's been the host and he hasn't had any issues.
Well, it's not the situation that he wanted to have, for sure. I mean, he's the one that needs to be running in front of Beastaz, and now Rex has left the session. I'm not sure what's going on. Left and right. Now Sean has left the session.
We got Codemasters, their brilliant connection by the looks of things, Alan, and I have a feeling you're going to see a few more drivers disconnect. We'll have to wait and see whether anyone can get back in before we decide what to do, because we've lost almost half the grid now, I believe.
Not advised. I don't know how to say it. I mean, Rhino Motorashani, the AI is back to the back end of another AI, and now MLA gets past. The 2 silver arrows are out of it. Sean just gets passed by the Ferrari in a second. Oh, this is an absolute nightmare for the silver arrows, and especially MLA, who was hoping to run in front of Beastaz, and now he's going to need a big comeback and a big storm to win this championship, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No, this is very disappointing. All these ghosted cars, you know, are they going to be able to get back in the session or not? That is going to be key. You've got lots of you watching, and as soon as we are able to figure out what's happened, we will bring you some news. But yeah, a bit disappointed to see. You know what, Alan, it was a fantastic battle. They were all just so close on track, kind of follow the leader. And we seem to have lost a few of them through disconnection. So will they be able to get back in? Jaw being one of them. Flair's also gone. Rex is gone. So MLA, Sean, and Black Mumbai. Black Mumbai's in. So yeah, they're just lapping Sean. That's that other ghost car.
Yeah, it's a shame. It really is. With some of these drivers, I mean, a couple more, and it's going to really downplay the Mexican Grand Prix. I was hyped for this weekend. I mean, there's not too many races that I get hyped for because, no offense, not to brag, but I'm a commentator. I commentate a lot of races, and I go into the races thinking, okay, there's going to be some passes, there's going to be some of this, some of that, but, you know, this track, there's everything. I mean, there's that long straight, lots of battles, a crazy start, some chicanes, a lot of S's where drivers get loads of penalties. The third sector is really one of my favorites. It's a unique one. We're not too many tracks have a stadium section. I mean, there's a German Grand Prix, and that's not even on this game. It's coming back for 2018. So, I mean, this track is very unique, so I was hyped for this race, and it's just a disappointment seeing a lot of these drivers disconnect.
Yeah, it definitely is, Alan. I presume it's only something to do with the host leaving, and subsequently we've lost about 4 or 5 of them after that. So we're just waiting to hear back from the tier coordinator MLA to find out exactly what's happened with him, and then perhaps we'll be able to shed some more light on the situation. But we are halfway through now, and it looks like we've only got just over half the cars left.
Yeah, it's a real shame. It really is. Let's do a little... And believe it or not, Sean is still in the top 5. That's pretty funny. Sean's still in the top 5, but not for much longer. James Slater in 6th. Balloons in 7th, not too far behind. Noack actually going side by side with Balloons. They bang wheels. Just enough room, and Noack off the grass. Back on and saves it. Good save from Noack. And he's just a rookie. It's his first race, but hell, that was one of the best saves I've ever seen. And I'm sorry, heck. But Cloudy Balloons and his battles with Noack have really been interesting. He's been very defensive this entire Grand Prix. He shoves it up the inside in the second part, gets ahead of Cloudy Balloons, and now he's battling with the AI of Sean, who's now in 8th. And it's over for many of these drivers. It's really the top 7 who are left in this race that have not disconnected yet.
Yeah, definitely. We've got James Slater, I believe, who hasn't disconnected, but he had a poor start. So, yes, not good indeed. We've got a mix of tyres on the right-hand side, as you can see, softs and supers. But just bear with us, Alan. We are just discussing exactly what we need to do, because it definitely puts a damper on the championship if this was to finish like this. It wouldn't really give the drivers a chance to keep fighting for these final 3 races. But yeah, just give us a second, Alan, and we will decide exactly what we're going to do.
So as we speak right now, Beast has leads by around 10 seconds. He's probably going to win this race no matter what. I mean, he had the pace, had a beautiful move in turn 1. Learning the wheel, and his black Mumbai and Malloy and James Slater, Noack, Cloudy Balloons ran out the top 7. So 7 runners really left in this race, 19 laps in. I mean, when the disconnection happened, we were more than halfway through the race, and we didn't really have too many drivers. So I mean, let's say a restart happens, and we've already done half the race. I mean, either a 25% race with customized grid could be an option of what some people could be thinking, or just which this is the worst case scenario with internet connection and MLA not. Let's say we try a restart and we're trying to do this thing again for 25%, and MLA's internet is not up to it due to the game or whatever. Worst case scenario, we're not going to do it, and that's just a guess. Sometimes I've seen some leagues do it, so that's why I say it. But you know, I hate when it comes to that, because whenever you don't finish a race, you get an empty feeling in your stomach, because you expect so much more, but with the weekend you got so much littler. If that's a word, I just made it up. But, yeah, I just hope we're actually able to finish the race, or you know, something happens. But it's a real disappointment. But as you speak right now, the gap between Learning the Wheel and Beast House is around 10 seconds, and Beast House, he just wants to maintain it. I mean, in his mind, mentally, he feels like he's won the race already. MLA is disconnected, and that's really ended his championship run. So really, he's just trying to carry his car home to the end. He doesn't really want to push. I think he's already pushed for a couple fast laps, but really, he just wants to safely win this one.
Yeah, Alan, just got confirmation from the team. We've just been discussing it. We are going to restart the race. Not going to do qualifying. We're going to upload what we started the grid with and go from there. So MLA, the tier coordinator, is just setting that up as we speak. And yes, unfortunately, what has been an amazing race so far, we're going to have to go through it all again. And I hope it's just as exciting.
It's going to be 25 or 50%?
It'll be a 50% race as it was this time, so we're going to back out right now, and that will hopefully give the instructions to everyone else to back out as well. But it's always one of those difficult situations that, you know, the team have to decide, Alan, because, you know, you're going to upset.
Yeah, I mean, that's a first for me in league commentating. I never really had to restart the race, so I get to go through the action again, I guess. Are we gonna have a separate stream and delete this one, or?
No, we'll probably just keep it up and perhaps we can talk a little bit more about the liveries. I know you were chatting about that in qualifying, and perhaps what your thoughts are, Alan, towards the season in general, and how things might play out between the top teams and things like that.
Well, my opinion has always been, you put a car like a Red Bull, you put them close enough to Mercedes and Ferrari, and they're going to do some damage to the top guys. I honestly feel like Max Verstappen, he's a force to be reckoned with, because the kid's only 20 years old as we speak right now, and he's only going to improve every single year. He's only going to get better. My opinions are that, you see Ricciardo in 2014, he a lot of the races he outperformed Vettel, and then the races we've this car doesn't fail when he pushes it too much against Ricciardo. I know you're a Hamilton fan, but I honestly feel like if they were teammates, that'd be one heck of a season. It'd be like MP44 all over again. Best drivers, best team, best car. But it'd be interesting. I mean, if Red Bull produce a good car, I feel like they'll be fighting with Max Verstappen. Lewis right now, he's in his prime. I don't feel like he's going to get any better compared to Verstappen. He's only going to get better every single year. But the future looks bright for Verstappen, and for Hamilton, he just hopes he has a good car.
Yeah, definitely. I am a Hamilton fan. I can't deny that. But yeah, it's going to be a close one. And Alan, as you said, it's we can all guess, we can all kind of presume what might happen in terms of the race. But until we get out in Barcelona testing, and even more so until we get to Australia in qualifying, that shootout, we don't know what's going to happen. So it's just a case of hope, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But whatever does happen, I'm sure it's going to be closer than last season.
Yeah. Something I'm excited about. You're a Hamilton fan, probably Mercedes too. I'm a McLaren fan my whole life, since I've been a fan of Jenson Button, and then he retired. And then in the junior or the lower tiers, I've always been a fan of Antonio Giovinazzi. And I was very, very sad they didn't get a ride. In my honest opinion, I wasn't too happy that Ericsson got the ride over him. But so I don't really have a driver to support this season. I mean, this season I'll be supporting Renault and McLaren, of course. Last season I was.
Yeah, no, look, it's a controversial thing, but I do think, when I saw the video on board with the Mercedes, it really put me off just watching. It was really hard for me I wouldn't want to ride on board from that camera if there's an actual race going on. But it's one of those things that, there's strengths and weaknesses for both, and you're never going to please everyone. And me personally, I don't like it. I believe, people like Hulkenberg, what they say is true. You do have an element of danger when you step in that car, and they're all aware of that every time they step into it, Alan. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. But we never want to see anybody hurt at the same time, and that's why it's been brought in to just help safety that little bit further. So yeah, what are your thoughts on it, Alan? Yeah, that's correct. That was the last one.
Yeah, and then Joe Bianchi, he passed away around 8-9 months later from sustained injuries when he got his injury in the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix, and he was going to be a force to be reckoned with as well. I mean, a fantastic driver. He got Mana Marusha's first points in 2014 in the Monaco Grand Prix, and passed away due to the injuries he got from slamming into one of the safety medical cars. Not a safety car, but it was, I'm trying to, I don't remember. He crashed into one big car, and after that, I'm not sure a halo would have prevented it, but you also look at 2009 Hungary practice qualifying for Felipe Massa. He was in his Ferrari, and it was the season after he lost the championship that I feel like, no offense, Nick, don't get mad at me, you're a Hamilton fan, but I feel like Massa deserved, yeah, don't be mad at me on that one, but anyway, 2009, flying piece of debris comes out of his car, and gets in a coma. However, he recovers at the end of 2009 in the...
It happened in Hungary, didn't it?
Start the Brazilian Grand Prix. He was back in 2010. He hasn't been the same since. And then after Alonso's crash, really, I feel like they tried to force it, and it went too fast, because with Alonso's crash in the 2016 Australian Grand Prix, crashed into Esteban Gutierrez, and that was a nasty crash, and he was lucky to get out of that one. Not too many drivers back then would have gotten out of that one, but I think F1 realized at the time, Bernie Eccleston realized that there needed to be some changes, and I felt like the halo was rushed, but at the same time, it's now the strongest part on the car. It's built with titanium, and there's been video footage and tests that you chuck a tire at it, and the thing bounces in place a tad bit, but it doesn't break off, it doesn't fall apart, it doesn't budge. And I think that's the part that I like about the Halo, and there's not too many parts I like about it. So
yeah, it's I think it's something that perhaps can be improved. As you say, Alan, it was rushed, so perhaps it can be improved, and if it is able to be improved aerodynamically, ergonomically, so it looks better, fits in a bit better with, you know, the situation of where it is on the car, then, you know, yeah, why not? You know, improve safety, that's what we want. But yeah, I'm sure that there'll be plenty of discussions as the season goes on with it.
Yeah. So time counts down, but yeah, quickly, I was going to say something I forgot. But as we begin the Mexican Grand Prix all over again, with a custom grid order set, well, let's just see how this one goes. And for the social team and F1 TS sub, it's a bummer for them. They're going to have to put up all those tweets again and everything. Probably trying to take down all the old ones and everything. But hopefully it doesn't crash out. Hopefully we actually finish the race. It's still streaming, so right now you can't get the F1 logo in it. I know that for a fact, or else copyright strike.
Yeah.
So I'll let just be aware of that. So everyone's ready, and we'll get ready for the Mexican Grand Prix again. And I'm a little bit, I'm sort of happy and sort of mad about this one. Nice to see that, you know, we'll be able to finish the race, but at the same time, the conditions look different. Track looks a tad bit wetter. We could see some rain within the next couple of minutes. That could definitely shake some things up.
Yeah, I don't think we'd, as viewers, we'd complain about that, would we, Alan?
I would in F1 2017. Not much passing, but any other racing game from the past, I mean, in 2015, 2016, I'd be fine with that.
Well, let's see what these drivers are. They're all taking the time to pick their strategy. Bisas is the first one to decide. I don't think Bisas picked his car in time. He was flicking through on the screen as the timer was counting down. So we might see him in another car, just as a one-off. But he is, of course, racing for the Williams, and he was leading that race. So you've got to feel a little bit for him. But Alan, it's, you know, one of those things that happens. It's not their fault, it's not the drivers who disconnected's fault, and it's not our fault as well, but obviously as the league we do apologise that it happened. Yeah, Bisas is in the Red Bull.
yeah, I would have said no formation lap just, you know, due to the time, but an
Yes.
extra lap wouldn't kill us, so yeah, that's fine. So Beast has in a Red Bull an odd appearance, odd cameo he'll be in for this race. MLA's been disqualified, so if many others, they don't even want to do the formation lap, and I don't blame them. Probably
Yeah,
hit each other on purpose.
Yeah, if they do that, then they'll be back to the grid, and no, it'll shade off a minute of this one. But Alan, we got to do it all again. 36 laps, and this is a long race actually in terms of time that it takes. But that's of course, you know, we usually see safety cars and stuff in real life, but here in this game, safety car is a very rare appearance, and these drivers are gonna have 36 laps. It does look cloudy, so is there going to be any rain? That'll really be interesting, and yeah, it's pretty cool to see Beast in a different car, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to see that. You know, I'm not sure if his results will count for Red Bull or Williams or, but I mean, for Red Bull, it'd be cool to see if they got to win this season. Not gonna lie, I'd like to see that. Hopefully it'd count, but again, they'll probably change that, but it's fine. And looking back to the grid, yeah, he's the only Red Bull in the race today, but he has a chance of scoring that team 25 points unofficially.
Yeah, so we had Flair, who hasn't come back into the lobby, or Pulsar man, of course, so that prompts everyone up one position, and Jor as well. It's got a little bit late for him, so we've lost those two. Of course, Flair had already decided not to come back into the race before the restart, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Alan, take it away.
Here we go, the 5 red lights. Let's do it again here in New Mexico, and we're green. Beast has a Noak on the front row. Can Noak get another storming start? Beast has no, he does, so he defends him very quickly off the start. And there's Sean in, learning the wheel back behind him. They all shuffle down to the inside, back to the outside, headed towards turn 1. The Ferrari, oh, he hits the back end, and he's so sliding in turn 1. They're all able to save it, though, as the Mercedes gets shoved wide. And already, and it looks to be some lag in the background. It looked like from either Rex, or it could have possibly been, I think could have been Cloudy, Black Mumbai, I mean. But already there's James Slater dropping back.
Oh, we've got contact.
Oh, 2 cars.
Mally and Noak have made contact, and I was riding on board with that, but from the shot that I was on, I couldn't see it. We've got Learning the Wheel, who's retired from the session for some reason. What's happened there? Noak's retired as well, so he's obviously called it a day, and it's not been a good night for the Pinnacle tier, to say the least.
Yep. So already 2 drivers done. I think now for any driver that gets in an incident now, I think they'll just retire. I think that they'd be just fed up with everything that's been going on. It looks like Mally is slowing down. Most likely gonna pit this lap, go for a fast lap, and then retire. I don't know what's going on. Chaotic stuff, to say the least. But you could come across the line for the opening lap. Beast has is a bigger gap than last race that we had. It was 1 second through the first lap, and now the first lap in the second race to almost 3 seconds on the very first lap. And MLA's running up in second, so this is the sort of thing he wanted to see here. Another chance to redeem himself. He just needs a problem from Beast has, and he'll retake the lead of this championship. So a little question. We have drivers, 2 retired, 2 drivers done on the first lap, and now 3 drivers done on the first lap. That's a mature way to retire, enter the pits, and then call it quits. We have 8 drivers. If we have a couple more retired, do you think the race will just get canned, or we'll finish it with very low runners?
I'm not sure. We'd definitely finish it, I believe, just because they've been all on-track incidents that have happened, but it wouldn't be a very positive night or something that we'd be very happy with at all. I don't know if you saw that incident between the McLaren and the Haas driver of Mally and Noak, Alan, but you know, Mally's been involved in a few incidents recently, and you know, putting that incident aside, if you find yourself being involved in, you know, a lot of incidents, do you think you have to, you know, step back and think, hey, what am I doing wrong to, you know, to be involved in so many, or is it always the other driver's fault?
I mean, I would say, I mean, you don't crash into someone on purpose. You don't go wheel to wheel with someone knowing that they'll spin out. These are always racing incidents. I mean, there's some blatant ones that we do call out on some drivers, but overall, the drivers don't mean to take people out. They just mean to battle. They just want to get more points for themselves at the same time, trying to do it in a fair and positive way. But they don't mean to take each other out. But at the same time, this stuff does happen. It's just racing incidents, and that's the thing that we all expect when it comes to open wheel racing. Any type of racing, we expect it. So if the drivers do retire the way they do, or once again incidents the way they do, it's a real bummer to have that. As 2 laps in, we already have 3 done. But I think it is what it is. I mean, some of these drivers will get an incident, some of them won't. Some of them will be lucky, some of them won't. Overall, I just say it's racing, and it happens, and we should just move on from the incidents that do happen. Speaking about moving on, coming across the line for lap 4, Beast Test, fastest lap, a 1:18 flat for the Red Bull, yes, Red Bull driver for one race. And as we speak right now, MLA and Sean pretty close to each other. Do you think the move will be on the move?
Yeah, definitely. They're looking like they're possibly going to have a position change here. Merc versus Merc, and we never mind a little teammate squabble between these two because they always keep it clean and they don't leave too much on the table. But MLA currently leads his teammate at the moment. His teammate is on the quicker ultra soft tires, so you know that's one of the reasons perhaps that he's all over the back of his championship running teammate, and perhaps he should let him through, you know, to try and chase Beasthouse down. As we see a little battle between James Slater and Cloudy. They're going side by side. They're showing us exactly how to do it through these slow speed corners, giving each other plenty of room and being very respectful. Although saying that, Cloudy gives him a little squeeze off track. That's going to hamper his exit, and he's able to keep the position because of that. So only 8 runners left, and pretty disappointing in terms of attendance and just the whole situation that's happened tonight with the disconnections. But we're going to make the most of it here, and here comes Rex to have a little ding-dong with Cloudy and James Slater.
Yes, these two going at it for point-paying positions. Some drivers won't be able to, get those positions. They're already out of it, like Mally, Nowick, and Lauren on the wheel. But it's a real shame for them. They could have gotten some. You have 8 drivers left, so whoever finishes the race, no matter what happens, will get some points to bring home to the table. So, riding down the straight, it looks from 8th all the way up to 6th. Drivers very close. James Slater very close to the back end of the Williams of Cloudy Balloons. And now we go up 4th to 3rd and 4th place going at it. The Sauber, Black Mumbai, and Sean. They try to switch back towards the Harquilla, hits the apex. Just can't get close enough to that silver arrow. So as it stands right now, we have 2 separate 3-car trains. A Renault in the middle of that, and then a Red Bull running away with the show as we speak.
Yeah, I think Beasthouse has got his shorts and t-shirt on, sitting in that car with his flip-flops, because he's pretty much settled down at the beach for today's race. It's not that sunny, but he's very content up there.
Yeah, he is. I mean, coming across the lap number 6, it is. Already, this race is flying by. James Slater and, broken the front wing off Rex is James Slater in the Renault. And he's not going to be too happy with that one. He'll, Rex and himself stay out after making contact on lap 5. And as we go down the straight, 3 cars are still within battle of each other. That is MLA, Sean, and Black Mumbai. And already headed down the straightaway here, the second DRS straight with DRS open. Rex, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And he sounds like he said still leading 5.8 seconds here in Mexico. So that's how it stands right now. And I'm surprised MLA is ahead of these 2 drivers. At the same time, not shocked that he's holding up a train. He's on those super soft tires compared to Sean and Black Mumbai, who are on the ultra softs as we speak right now. Do you think it's going to benefit him due to the fact that he's on the harder compound?
Yeah, I presume he's definitely going to surely be going for a 1-stop, unless he's going to try and do a supers to 2 ultra softs. But when you're sitting in 2nd position and the guy in front's already got a 6-second lead, perhaps that's not going to be the case, or is there rain coming, Alan? We just don't know. It does look cloudy up there, a little bit of wind you can see on the flags, but these two Mercs leaving nothing on the table at the moment, and Black Mamba just there, as you mentioned, 2 3-car trains in the moment.
I mean, these trains eventually will lead to battles, and hopefully they pass each other and battle each other before, you know, the battles actually happen, because, oh, a tank slapper from Sean after collecting a 3-second time penalty. Saw at the exit of that first chicane from Sean. It was really, really tough for him, really tough, but at the same time was able to save the car, and Malloy, 3-second time penalty. Not the best for him. But it's a real shame. We restarted, and yeah, we restarted with 11 drivers. We now have 8. Before we restarted, we ended the session with 7 drivers. So it's a disappointment. I mean, it's sad to see that some of the drivers have already left, but it sucks. I mean, even drivers like Mally, they knew they were going to get 2 points, just retire. They didn't even want 2 points. But it is what it is, and Beast House still leads. Gap is 6 to 7 seconds. MLA in second, and looks like now that the drivers have done half of the race at Mexico, I think they pretty much figured out what they could do, what they could change, and what they can improve in the second Grand Prix we have today.
Yes, it is disappointing to say the least, and you know what happened on the first lap. It's I don't know. You know, you take 2 drivers out of the race in a first lap incident, and when you've restarted and you've got 11 on the grid, it's a bit frustrating to see 2 disappear as Sean gets past his teammate. So MLA didn't put up too much of a fight there, didn't go late on the brakes to try and hold it around the outside. Sean's got ahead. Perhaps he's going to go chase BSAS down if he does have the pace. We'll have to wait and see, but by looks of things, BSAS is on a Sunday drive. If he needs a toilet break, he'll have plenty of time to do just that, and those 2 Mercedes are going to continue this scrap, hopefully for second and third all the way throughout the race.
So again, the Silver Arrows in second and third. What was a disaster Mexican Grand Prix for them in the first stint. In the second stint of the second Grand Prix, they able to run in second and third. You're really where they are in driver standings, just the drivers swapped of where they should be. The top 3 in the race right now are all top 3 in the driver standings. So very interesting stuff from them. But Sean now starting to increase the gap on those better tires. He'll probably gain him back in the second stint. Is MLA against Sean. Well, let's do a little grid rundown. We're 9 laps in. It is Beast has Sean, MLA, Black Mumbai, Malloy, Flighty Balloons, Rex, and James Slater rounds out the top 8 here in Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico City, high altitude, Alan. One of the highest on the. I think it is the highest on the calendar. So. MLA looking back down the inside of Sean, needs to be careful. They got the Sauber driver there, Black Mamba, so they're obviously having a bit of fun here, the 2 Mercedes, and they've won the constructors, and now they're going to have a little fight. So MLA goes back through. Sean gets a bad exit, gives Black Mamba a little squeeze, big squeeze all the way down that mini straight, and Black Mamba has to live to fight another day and try and attempt another pass as he gets a 3-second time penalty. It's so difficult, Alan, being in the dirty air of those cars, and the Mercedes just look like they're toying with each other.
It could be that. What I'm seeing is just a little teamwork here. They're just working together to try to hold up the Sauber Black Mumbai, and then they're trying to save their tires but yet keep them behind. And then once they start pushing again, the gap will increase. So I think, yeah, they're just messing with them or toying around. But as we speak right now, right on board with the Sauber Black Mamba, he's pushing, trying to stay with them. And like I said, little team orders, the Mercedes now, they need MLA ahead of Sean. And that's what happened as Sean cuts the corner in turn 1. And like you mentioned in the past, not too good with corner cutting, as you saw right there. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And MLA was able to get back by on the harder compound, so really the plan is just to have them up in front and make sure no one can touch them, and hopefully BSAS is forced into an error. No one's around him as we speak, so really no one's forced him to do anything. But 10 laps through, driver should be pitting within lap 11 due to the fact that we did not have qualifying, so these are a new set of tires, so everyone should be pitting 1 lap later than expected. that is my prediction. Maybe lap 11, 12, or 13, drivers will start flowing into the pits.
Yeah, you got Rex closing in on Cloudy Balloons as Sean gets his first time penalty of the race. Of course, they can start on fresh tyres because of the edited grid that we had to do for this second race here in Mexico. And yeah, Rex, and you have to say people like drivers like Rex and Cloudy Balloons and, you know, Meloy on his debut, they're going to score good points today. So perhaps, you know, for drivers like them, they'll be walking away from tonight satisfied with their result.
Yeah, I mean, it took a lot to work for, let's be honest here. I mean, 2 different races, a lot of battling. All the end, you know, good result could be up at grabs for some of these drivers. Rex, 5-second stop and go for speeding into the pits. And, yeah, it just adds trouble to what he had in mind today. Well, Rex was not expecting that 5-second stop-go penalty. Thought he got it under in time, but actually, no. Did not. So 11 laps in, 2 drivers already in the pits. That's Rex and James Slater, both of them fitting on tires and exiting right now. Beast has MLA. The gap between them is starting to decrease a tad bit. I mean, it's been around 7-8 seconds, maybe it was 6 seconds, and I haven't looked at it in a while. I don't know, but gap between them is either staying the same or slowly increasing. I think it's actually decreasing a tad bit, because last time I checked it was around on the 8-second margin in MLA. I mean, on those harder compounds, you don't expect much from MLA on a harder compound compared to BSAS. It's now BSAS into the pits. Lap number 11, MLA should be pitting 5 laps from now due to the fact that he's on the super softs. What do you say?
Yeah, I reckon that's going to be about right. MLA will definitely be one-stopping, but I presume BSAS is also going to be one-stopping. So as in comes Sean. So what will Sean do? He went for a 2-stopper last race. Will he be able to switch to the 1 because of the fresh tyres? We'll have to wait and see. But regardless of what he's going to do, Beasthast is coming out in 2nd place above Cloudy Balloons, who started on the super soft tyre. So Beasthast still in a podium position, having stopped. MLA not stopped yet. So 1st and 2nd in the championship, and vice versa on track right now. But of course, MLA yet to come into the pits. Rex goes past Malloy, who is also coming to the pits in his Renault. So 2 Renaults on the grid today, Alan. We haven't seen that for a lot of the season. We've always been trying to, you know, fill one of the Renault seats. Whoever we place in seems to have to jump ship for some reason or another. But 2 Renaults here today, so perhaps they can score some good team points.
Yes, points are definitely up at grabs due to the fact that we only have 8 drivers left in the session. 12 laps into this 36-lap race here in the Mexican Grand Prix here at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. But for MLA, what he's hoping to do, he's hoping to do the overcut on BSAS due to the fact that they'll be pitting within the next couple of laps. And really, MLA is going to have a huge advantage here. I'm not sure how much of a difference it'll be, but for MLA's case, he really hopes he gains a lot of time off of BSAS. Gap right now between them is 13 seconds. He needs a mistake from BSAS just to get ahead of him. Do you think he'll be able to do it?
I don't know. BSAS has looked supreme all night, and you know, he's had a few laps around here tonight, as most of these drivers have, and BSAS has led most of them. So his pace is definitely there. It's been there all season, and is definitely there tonight. So the Williams driver, featuring in a Red Bull tonight, he's definitely working his way towards that championship. And when he wins tonight, you have to say, Alan, he could wrap it up actually a week early in Brazil next week. So it is going to be possible for him, and if he does do that, there'll be a trophy with his name on arriving at his door swiftly afterwards.
Yes, that's always a pleasant feeling of winning the championship. Again, some drivers have the lucky and well-deserved experience of winning a championship, and really nice for some drivers. But MLA crossed the line, lap 14, and not even halfway through, and honestly feels like we've done more than one race, and that's because we have done more than one race. And some of these drivers, the practice has really helped them. The first one could really be considered as a practice race. This second race has been something else. I mean, the action in the first one, no offense, but I'd have to say it's been a lot better than compared to this one. I mean, a lot of drivers took risks in the first one, and many saw it didn't work out, and then he got damaged when he spun out. I think now they're just trying to stay conservative and just really save their car, help their car, and nurse it around the track. And in the second race, due to the fact that they've already done almost a full 50% race, and now they're doing a second one just because half the people disconnected. I mean, not too many drivers happy about that one, but at the same time, they're just trying to go on, get some points. They don't really want to. They don't want to push throughout the entire race. It's like doing a school project, and you're 70% done with it, and then all of a sudden, let's say the facts are wrong or something goes wrong, and you have to do it all over again. You're not going to put in the same amount of effort as you did in the first one, will you? I mean, I wouldn't. I'm just trying to finish it and trying to rush through it. I think that's what some of these drivers are doing right now. I mean, Malloy, was at the time of the last lobby, was inside the top 4, and now he's back in 7th. A couple other drivers as well, running differently, and right now Sean's battling Cloudy Balloons in the stadium section, and trying to fend him off. In the first stint, it was a similar battle, and they meet up once more on track. But as we come across the line, Sean and Cloudy Balloons both across the line and away from the pits as we head down the straight. MLA is still out there. Lap 15, and the gap has closed by 3 seconds. It has not helped has not helped MLA at all. And really, it's only hurt MLA. But at the same time, you have to realize if he stretches it out enough, he may be able to put on the ultra softs at the end and be able to push at the end and catch Beastaz. You think that's what MLA is going for?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to try something different here, that's for sure, Alan. If he can stretch these, super softs for me, you don't know if he can stretch him for 5 laps. Perhaps he can strap on the ultra soft towards, the end of the race, and then he'll be absolutely flying. But it's a big ask. We know MLA is good with his tires. We know he's good on penalties, but it would be a big ask if he was able to do that, as Black Mamba all over the back of Cloudy Balloons through this S section, and it's so hard to pass there, and you just lose front end grip. Cloudy giving a little bit of a squeeze to the inside, but bang wheels front and rear both go off track, and Black Mamba takes a position. So that's that one done and dusted. Meanwhile, we've got Malloy all over the back of Rex now, so this is going to be another good battle.
So, with what's going on right now, I'm looking around the track, and with Rex, as we speak, and Malloy, they're pretty close to each other through the final corner. Rex and Malloy, a terrible exit from Malloy, as we head down the straight. DRS up and open for the Renault of Malloy down the straight, pushing it up to 8th gear, and really close. He's slipstream, and the lag. Wow, a lot of lag from Rex. He's going to switch to the outside to try and avoid hitting the back end of the Sauber as he runs by. Maybe hit the apex in turn number 2 and 3. That's what he does, and he's a lot closer to a Sauber than he imagines. So, as we head down the second DRS straight, he may try the outside, and that's what he's going to do. Very late braking around the outside, getting out the inside back to the corner, and that's what he does. Down to the inside, they'll be side by side as he approaches the Horquilla, and it's sort of like a hairpin, but it sort of isn't. And Malloy gets by. On my screen he does. A lot of lag from Rex as MLA finally slides into the pits. It's lap 17 here in Mexico.
Yeah, fantastic side-by-side racing through those slow corners. MLA's in the pits, so he'll be fitting the soft tire, and he's going to lose a lot of time through that one, but you have to say he'll be on the freshest soft tire, I should say, and pushing to the end of the race. What's happened? Rex has just absolutely destroyed his car, and there was nothing accident about that, Alan.
I didn't see the footage. I don't know if that could have happened, not gonna lie.
It's the stadium section. He just literally drove straight into the barrier. No care, no thought about stopping, no care about the rest of the drivers in the race who could be affected by a safety car, and very unsportsmanlike if you ask me, Alan.
Could have pulled into the pits and retired. But that's Rex done and finishes with a bang on lap 17. And Beast House, what a shame it would have been if a safety car came out. And I remember Singapore had the race in the back, safety car came out, and well, many collisions going on after that one. The way I saw it, Beast House could have won the race, but there's so many other determined drivers that second set who were able to catch back up. Remember Luis tried to get the lead. Locked up, crashed out, not crashed up, but he did again in a crash, and then Malley could have went from last to first. That was something. I believe he's in the Toro Rosso that race by accident. But yeah, I mean, it just goes to show it's never over till it's over. You think you have this massive lead, and then the safety car comes out, and then you have to work for it all over again. So right now, it actually looks Cloudy Balloons is in the pits, lap 18. They'll be putting on the soft tires. And down the order into 7th, maybe? Oh, it'll be close, though. He's determined to try and stay ahead. James Slater across the line. And I think he'll be able to get ahead of Cloudy Balloons, and he does. So Cloudy Balloons down to P7. And right now, 18 laps in, Beast has lead by 9 seconds off of Sean. And MLA has dropped 2 positions due to the overcut failing to work for him. He's actually on the soft tires, so he's going to try to work it till the end. So for the case of MLA, not the best day and not the best opportunity he had to try and get a better result after starting on a better compound, sort of say, on strategy-wise.
Yeah, definitely. He's obviously gone long in this first stint, and he's come out in 7th, but he'll be pushing to the end, I'm sure. James Slater and Malloy, they're going to have to stop again, surely, on those super soft tires to fit perhaps what I imagine will be an ultra soft, because we started on fresh tires. They should be able to fit the ultra soft rather than another set of supers. But yeah, interesting that MLA is now closing on Black Mamba as well.
Yes, that gap is coming down, and it is around half a second or so between a podium and a 4th place finish for MLA. And down the second DRS straight, close enough, and he does apply the DRS. But just cannot get close enough. The DRS really has not been huge in this game. Hasn't really shown. But again, headed towards Arquilla is Black Mumbai, still running in 3rd. If you remember, Black Mumbai got a win earlier this season in the Singapore Grand Prix. It was, like we said, hectic race. Could have went to B-Stats, but it didn't. Could have, would have, should have situation for B-Stats, but just gave Black Mumbai a deserved win that he survived all the chaos, and right now, hopefully, trying to defend and survive the battle against Beastas, because he's going to be defenseless as he has no one else in front of him to try and, you know, numb the pain that he's going to go through when MLA goes past him. But right now, you have a long straight in front of you, and they keep running wide through the corner, so really Black Mumbai is going to be defenseless now. The only thing that's going to help him is the lack of straight line speed in this game. And with DRS, it doesn't help MLA here. Down the straight, headed towards the first corner. It's lap number 20 out of 36. And almost there, just not close enough to make a move for P3.
Yep, it's at least we're getting some battling, Alan, throughout the race. And we are on lap 20, so we've reached further than we did in the previous lobby. And same result for Beastas at the moment. He leads, and he's comfortable. MLA
he's
just
the inside.
Yeah, what a move that was. And wow, yeah, is Black Mamba going to have perhaps another look to try and get back here?
Yes, he tried to switch back there, just was not able to do it. Trying to defend that inside before the S's, and MLA is able to hang on. And now he's back in P3 with fresher soft tires. He's going to be pushing towards 2nd place now, which is his teammate of Sean. Knowing Mercedes, if they're close enough towards the end, most likely team orders will be done and they'll switch those 2 cars around just to help the positioning of where MLA is, and that's going to have to be done when he exceeds a gap of around a couple seconds off the Sauber. So, you know, the Sauber doesn't slide into P3. You know, because you don't want that. You don't. You know, they want Sean and MLA in 2nd and 3rd. Yeah, like we said, 21 laps in, and then actually, we switch to this lobby on lap 21 and out down to the inside, but thinks better of it. It is the Sauber, Black Mamba. But yeah, we went 21 laps in the first stint of the first race, and we switched over to this one. So right now we're tying the race distance of what we got in the last one. So hopefully we cross 22 and becomes official for that one. But yeah, again, I've been wary of the clouds. We're 21 laps back into this thing, and we still don't know if it's going to rain. Do you think the weather's going to change?
I don't know. I've been thinking that for a while, but now I'm starting to think that it might remain as it is, just a bit overcast. And yeah, I think that's possibly the outcome for the weather tonight. But Alan, you just don't know. A lot can change in 14 laps, and it isn't unlikely that it could rain at Mexico. It has rained in the past, not an official race here, but I know in practice sessions I've done and things like that, it does rain here. So it'll be interesting to see if it does, and it would really spice things up. But just seeing Black Mamba fall off the back slightly, still within DRS, but it just shows you how close these guys are in terms of pace, Alan. You know, we don't have a lot of drivers, and I know in the last lobby we saw a train of 4 or 5 with MLA, and you know, we're seeing him in Black Mamba now, and it's great to see drivers still putting on a good show for us.
Yeah, I mean, a good show is always something to have for the fans, but really, I've enjoyed this race so far. It's been good. Seen some good battles that have really stood out from others in the past that I've seen, especially with the one that MLA just performed on Black Mumbai. But 22 laps in, VSAS still out in front. The gap is around 8.5 seconds. And originally, in the first race, we talked about the gap between what it was, VSAS and Sean. You were expecting it to decrease towards the end, and I mean, a couple laps ago it was around 9 seconds. Now, earlier this lap it was 8.5, and now it's about to be 8.1, 8.2, and well, 3-second penalty for Black Mumbai. But yeah, the gap is definitely decreasing between Sean and VSAS. The last time we said that last round in the United States Grand Prix, I mean, a gap got close, but it just wasn't close enough. And yeah, I mean, that's sort of my opinion on it. I mean, the gap could have closed down, but it may not be enough. And now the gap is around back to 8.2 seconds. So it really depends on the sector of the track as well that you're in. Because some drivers have their own strong suit. Like for me, I like Sector 1 and 3 because it's nothing like Sector 2 with all the S's and all the confusing stuff. But, you know, for a driver standpoint, you know, you'd want to chain together all 3 good sectors, and you'd want to try and push every lap and try and make sure if you push every lap you can finish on the tires with the percent that they're at. So for VSTAS, I don't think he should be worried that much because the gap is lingering around from 8 seconds to 8.5 within these last couple of laps.
Yep, and Alan, I think you've got it spot on exactly what you were saying about the gaps. I think whatever the Mercedes boys, whatever Black Mamba, you know, anyone who in this Pinnacle tier would have raced today that didn't, I don't really think they have much to answer to VSTAS. This has been absolute supreme drive from him over the last round and this one. When I say last round, sorry, I mean last lobby, and this one as well. He's just absolutely dominated, and we're not surprised by it, Alan, because we've seen it so much this season already.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. 24 laps in, and looking through the grid, something that has really caught my eye is the gap. I mean, one time it's 8 seconds, and the other it's 8.5, and I mentioned this before. Each driver has their own strong suit, and like you said, I can definitely agree on that one. At a certain track like this, every sector is different. Sector 1 with a long straight, a chicane, and another long straight, Sector 2. You have the Horcula, which is the Mexican GP sort of hairpin that they have there, and then the S's, and Sector 3 is the stadium section with different types of, it's all different, and for every single part of the track that you go through, Black Mumbai and MLA going at it, thought that battle was done, but actually it wasn't, and both on the soft tire. I'm not sure if you're seeing on my screen. Black Mumbai appears to be on the super soft, and but actually it's on the soft, and MLA right now trying to get back into P3, but 24 laps in out of 36, or more than halfway through, and VSAS still leading by around 8.5 seconds to 8 full seconds. Do you see anything else happen in the race, like any more predictions? Because right now MLA really caught himself out, and he's really going to have to get back in the podium.
Yeah, he needs to get back onto that podium. So what you presume, Alan, would be that Sean would lift off and allow his teammate to finish second to minimize the points advantage that VSAS is going to get here. I mean, that's, you know, the logical thinking in terms of a team's point of view. They won the constructors. Sean is out of contentions for the drivers, and MLA is their only hope of stopping the man on a mission who is called VSTAS. And but he's got Black Mamba for company right now, and he can't seem to shake him off. Here they come down the second DRS straight, Surely the DRS is going to be open. What can MLA do as James Slater comes into the pits? MLA slings it down the inside, but Black Mamba keeps it on the outside, and that is always a good line to take through there, because it gives you the inside corner to this, what is a very tight and narrow couple of corners afterwards. So it means you can just kind of dictate your line and dictate your exit speed, and the driver behind has to follow suit. So Black Mamba keeps it for another lap, and it's a good scrap here for the final podium position.
Yeah, definitely. These positions are changing as we speak right now. Beast has crosses the line, 11 laps to go in the Mexican Grand Prix, and many positions are still up for grabs and still up for changing. MLA still behind the Sauber Black Mumbai for P3 as we speak. Down in P5 it is Cloudy Balloon, 6 is Malloy, and 7th is James Slater. The Renault 6th and 7th are both going to get points, but still not enough as the race winner. But really, coming through the field, MLA close to Black Mumbai, and they're going to keep switching positions to the very last lap, I believe. I mean, it'll wear their tires even more, but I feel like that these drivers are going to keep on battling, and then they realize, no one's really close to, catching us, so really it's not too much of a problem. But you have to realize that there's a car of Shaw ahead, and they would rather work together on trying to catch up. But that gap is way too big, around 7.5 seconds or so. But the way I see it, MLA Black Mamba, they're going to keep on trying to battle, but at the same time they're going to have to look out for their tires, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, because MLA, he knows he's going to finish on these tires, even if he spins out 5 times or does some burnouts on them. He's pretty much secured on those tires. For Black Mamba, same thing. Tire wear isn't too much of an issue. So really, I'd say that they're going to keep on trying to battle, but towards the end they're going to try and look out for themselves.
Oh, MLA getting very late on the brakes there. Locked up as in this stadium section. He's going to exit the corner behind Black Mamba one more time, and Mercedes versus Sauber as they exit onto the long back straight. MLA's got a good run here with DRS open. Black Mamba having a little weave to try and break the slipstream. Don't think there's any harm in that. Once he gets to the braking zone, he'll pick his line, and MLA will also pick his. And no, can't be this time around. He's going to have to, MLA's going to have to try, and if he doesn't have the straight line speed out, and he's got to pick another corner to try and line up and get this job done, because he needs that podium.
Yes, riding on board MLA, maybe a lunge to the inside, and that's what he does. He's desperate for a side, hangs his Sauber there and just clears it before the corner, but he's still going to be wheel to wheel as we approach the airport, but he defends the inside very quickly, moving under braking, and it is MLA back up in the podium. It is lap 27 out of 36, about to be lap 28, as we are approaching 9 laps to go in the Mexican Grand Prix. And these fans here in Mexico have really been up for a show, and a long race. They're getting more bang for their buck, as you can say. Paying for one race, they're actually getting 1.5. So if I were them, I'd be happy. So B-Stat's still leading. The gap is 8.3 seconds. Nothing can be done, and the only thing now we can really hope for is a mistake from B-Stat. So as it stands right now, MLA is in 3rd, B-Stat is 1st. Difference between them in points is 10, where they finish. And in points right now it's 15, so really it would be a 25 distance in points at the end of this race, meaning you enter Brazil, neither of them get points, and B-Stats wins a championship, or if B-Stats gets any points or finishes inside the top 10, then really, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of the points. I'm not too good on it, but I know that you need to get more than 25 points at the end of the second to last race of the season to clinch the championship, if that's the scenario of where they finish right now.
Yeah, Alan, if I'll just quickly got the website here, so I'll quickly switch over to the standings, and perhaps we can do some mathematics here live on air. Beastas currently leads by 22 points, so if the things stay as they are and he scores, what would that be, 13 more points, that would mean he'd lead by 35, so 35 points. So it means MLA would have to get 3rd position, and Beastas would have to score none to at the next race to try and continue things on. So yeah, I believe if Beastas wins this race, he's basically put the first initial of his name onto that trophy.
So Visa still leading, lap 29, and really good stuff from him. And I felt like a second ago, I was saying around like 9 laps ago, and I was lap 29 out of 36 to come to the end of this race. For some, it could have ended a while ago, but we'd like to get a fair ending to this one. I mean, it's not really fair, but it's as close as we could get to give some of these drivers a second chance with their internet cutting out. But really, the way I see it now is the top 7 drivers, they'll all be satisfied with points, but at the same time, they'll be looking at the time and be like, oh, it's a lot later. Well, I mean, they probably have schedules right now. I mean, as it speaks right now, it is 5:40 p.m. in America. And I know right now it's 10:40 at night in the UK, and not sure about some of the drivers, but either have a family or some kids to put to bed, or either way, the race has gone on a lot longer than they would have expected, and really they're going to be looking at their watches at the end of this thing. And for some reason, Beast has down the straight trying to go to the inside towards the grass. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. Maybe something on his tire or some wear on it. I'm not sure what Beast was doing there, or not what he's trying to do, but down the straight, you can clearly see that he's running towards the right-hand side, trying to do something to his tires.
Yeah, perhaps he's trying to have a bit of fun there, Alan, to entertain himself, because he hasn't really seen much of anybody else, and yeah, it looks like he's just on a Sunday drive through Mexico City, as that's where we are today, and yeah. Hasn't got a penalty. We know sometimes this season we've seen him get a few penalties, and this would be one of the tracks you'd expect if you were going to get some. It would be here, using all of that middle sector, all the curbs through it, and he'll shortly be coming into the stadium section as Melboy just gets past Cloudy Balloons. They are side by side, and oh, a little bit of wheel banging there, a little bit of perhaps carbon fiber damage, but the Renault looks to have got ahead on this occasion. He's got DRS open again as they head now into turn 4. Is Cloudy going to have enough straight line speed to try something here? He looks to the inside, no, isn't able to get it done, and that looks like Melloy has got the position and up into the top 5 on his first, well, I say first race, first night at F1's TS Hub, shall we say.
Yep, so lap 31 out of 36. 6 laps to go remaining in this race. Beast has lead. Sean 2nd, 3rd MLA, 4th Black Mumbai, 5th Malloy, 6 is Cloudy Balloons, running very wide off the S's, and 7th Chain Slater. 31 laps in, 6 laps to go, and a 3-second penalty for Black Mumbai. But now's a good opportunity. Now we're towards the end of this race. The way I see it, 6 laps ago, obviously, I think we all know that, but I was planning on mentioning this, and because you haven't yet, we're around 1 hour, 40-something minutes into the live stream. We haven't mentioned this. Very important announcement for F1 TS Hub following the next couple of weeks in March. Nick, do you want to give the exact date, because I forgot?
Yeah, it's just before the last race of the season, the 9th of March. Is the last race in Abu Dhabi for both tiers. Obviously the podium at 7 PM and the Pinnacle at 9 PM. But we've got a special announcement at 6 PM. This is all UK time, of course. So 6 PM UK time, we'll be live streaming from the PlayStation onto our YouTube channel. And we've got a bit of a special announcement that we're really excited to bring to you guys. And something that when I say we, I mean myself and the team that I work with at F1 TS Hub, we've been working really hard on this announcement over the last couple months, I'd say, and it's really gonna improve us as a league, and I'm sure all of our fans and drivers will be very happy with what we're gonna announce. And yeah, it's I don't want to get people's hopes up too much, because it isn't news on season 11. There'll be a few season 11 perhaps conversations that get brought into the announcement, but the season 11 reveal isn't that what if that's what you were hoping for. So I don't know if you know, Alan, but for the last few seasons what we do is we do basically an announcement on the new season live, and we basically talk about any new features that we're bringing to it and stuff like that, and it's always a good bit of fun. And as you know, we always try and add more content to the league, off track, on track, any way we can make it more realistic, more fun for the drivers and the fans to watch, and that sort of thing. So yeah, special announcement on the 9th of March, 6 p.m. And you're definitely going to want to be there because it's definitely going to be an exciting one. But yeah, season 11 stuff, that's to come later in March. So lots planned for season 11. But I won't reveal anything yet, Alan, because that would just ruin all the fun.
Yes, definitely. It's called a surprise for a reason. Even I'm not allowed to know. So I'm sort of licking my chops trying to figure out what's going on. But, you know, a surprise is a surprise. I'll respect that, and I'll wait towards the end of the season. I'll have to wait. I'm not going to beg them or anything. But, you know, while you've been talking, a couple laps have gone by. The gap between Sean and Beast has still, it's gone up by a couple tenths, but that's mainly about it. Sean MLA, second, third, fourth, Black Mumbai, fifth, Malloy, sixth is Cloudy Balloons, and seventh is James Slater. And long race, I'm really on the edge of losing my voice and being starving over here. I usually eat after my commentaries, because the thing with commentating is you don't realize it at the time. Once you start it, you're like, okay, it's fun. After that, you realize you start to get a lot more hungry because you keep moving your mouth. And if you know anything about science, when you chew gum, your brain and your body thinks, okay, your body thinks you're eating food, so then it gets those digestive enzymes working, so then it thinks you're eating. It sort of works sort of the same thing when you're commentating. You're moving your mouth too much. At the end of commentating, you're always hungry. So Nick was talking to me earlier before the race. He went to get some fish and chips at the end of the podium race because he was starving after commentating, and it didn't surprise me because that usually happens to me a lot.
Yeah, you got to as soon as you finish commentating, you got to run to the fridge, get yourself a snack, bit of chocolate, packet of crisps, you know, just to make yourself not feel so hungry. Of course, you're always important to always drink whilst you're commentating, whether it's water or hopefully not beer, but you know, if that's what tickles your fancy. But yeah, always important to stay dehydrated. Not that we're doing any physical work, but yeah, definitely been a good workout tonight. We've earned our money on this one, Alan.
Well, with 3 laps to go, and really, not too much else to say. Now 2 laps to go with B-Sass crossing the line of that Red Bull should be Williams. But B-Sass has been a completely dominant run for him today. He hasn't led every single lap. You have to remember that MLA stayed out, and you know, a long way through the race, to the fact that he started on the super softs, and now he's up in 3rd place, 6 seconds behind Sean, and that gap between Black Mumbai and MLA is around 3.5 seconds. Most likely a move will not be done, but it could be done if they decided to, in the sake of the championship. But I think they just decided now that it's just really down to the drivers on where they finish, and Black Mumbai picking up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so does Cloudy Balloons. Around the stadium section also, so really the car is catching a lot of drivers out. So B-Sass is going to approach the final lap this time by through the S's and entering sector number 3. Do you have any predictions what will go on for the next race? Due to the, you know, knowing the points, that it'll be a 25-point gap between B-Sass and MLA.
Yeah, it's a big ask from MLA to try and overturn this. Has to be said, as James Slater closes in on Cloudy Balloons, so perhaps we're going to have a last lap lunge here from it's going to be a Renault versus a Williams, James Slater versus Cloudy Balloons, and B-Sass is already starting his final lap 36 out of 36. Sean's in second, MLA makes up the podium. Alan, they don't look like they're going to be switching to me.
Well, most likely it'll be staying where they are, all of them. A couple seconds distance between each one. So on the final lap, B-Sass just hoping to nurse that car home. You know, can probably, you know, put it up to Rich Mix, run out of fuel, probably still win. Him, you know, going 40 miles per hour across the line, wouldn't be surprised at that. But coming from Circuit Americas, gaining some points, now down here at Auto Drama Hermanos Rodriguez. B-Sass going to extend the points gap even more. Oh, B-Sass smashing into the wall, wants to give himself sort of a challenge in this S section. Wants to see if he can survive without a penalty or not. That was very creative from him, let's just say that. Not sure what he did. He just turned dead right into the wall. I'm not sure why he did that. He led most of the laps. I wouldn't do that. Maybe cross the line I would. but entering the stadium section, the Mexican fireworks light up the cloudy sky as we go through the 2 final corners in the Red Bull. For one time only, crosses the line, Red Bull first, and it's Beastaz. He takes victory in the Mexican Grand Prix and exceeds that points gap up to 25 seconds. Sean slides into P2, and 10-second penalty for Black Mumbai. MLA actually is able to go up to second place due to time penalties. So really, it is not a 25-point gap. It is going to be a 22-point gap, entering the Brazilian Grand Prix with 2 rounds remaining.
Look at Melboy's going to cross the line in 5th position. Look at James and Cloudy. They're literally nose to tail through these S's. James goes slightly wide there. Some sort of late braking maneuver here. This is only for a couple points, but why not go for it if you can? James looks to the inside. Cloudy covers him. James has to take a wide sweeping line. Cloudy gets it nice and tight on the apex, and James, he's going to sling it right under the grandstand, but no, I think Cloudy's just managed to keep that position. So there you have it. That is the race finally done and dusted. Well done to Beastaz. Well done to those who stuck around and viewed. We actually, Alan, had quite a few viewers for the entire time, so thank you to those who stayed and viewed the stream with us. It's been a pleasure commentating on what has been a difficult night for the Pinnacle tier, but no doubt I'm sure they'll be back stronger next week.
Yep, so on top today on the podium, all the Red Bull guys celebrating because they have not done well this season, because they stole Beastaz for today and they're able to get the win with them. The Brit and the 2 silver arrows. Of course, how the driver standings are right now in the top 3, that's where they finish on the podium. And a good result today for MLA, though not good enough to get ahead of Beastaz. Not what he needed at all. But here's your grid rundown with everyone but MLA getting penalties that helped them in the long run. Beastaz, MLA, Sean, Black Mumbai, Malloy, Clyde, Balloon, Shane Slater, Rex, Malley, Noack, and Learning the Wheel. That rounds out the top 11. And really, that ends out the Mexican Grand Prix. Do you have any last thoughts after this long race?
No, other than well done to those the drivers who stuck around and finished where they are. And it's been a long night, but Beastaz extends his championship lead. If you want to know the exact amount, he has extended it to 32 points actually, Alan. So he leads by 32 points. So next time out in Brazil, MLA will need to beat Beastaz by at least 7 points to take the championship to the final race. In fact, it'll be more than 7 points because Beastaz has more wins. So there you have it. We go on to round 19 next week in Brazil. Alan, I'm looking forward to having a few more drivers on the grid and another battle. Hopefully we get it done first time around.
Yeah, so I think that should be it. Thank you everybody so much for watching. My name is Alan Cavagnaro. I'm alongside Nick, and we will see you next week for the Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Thank you everybody so much for watching. My name is Alan Cavagnaro. I'm alongside Nick. We will see you next week. Have a safe night, everybody, in peace. And that's action done. And F1 TS Hub, finally.